Hey, what's up, guys? I want to give a big shout out to DLC95 over at the Auto Geek forums for sending me some of this cool stuff to test out. I really appreciate you reaching out to me and let me test out some of these older Turtle Wax products that I haven't used before, and also this RejeX sealant product. I'm really going to enjoy putting these products through the test. I want to see how the older ICE lineup does compared to the current lineup that's out right now. We'll see if they've made any sort of significant changes over the years. Some of these you can't get anymore. I know the Platinum series is discontinued. I've had this older ice synthetic liquid polish. That's now discontinued. But here's the ice synthetic paste polish, and this is the one that I was probably most anticipating using. I wanted to see, just what kind of changes they've made. I know this is a blue tint. I'm going to go ahead and compare it against the current ice paste wax. We'll go ahead and open it up right here. You can sort of see the texture and the color of the waxes. They pretty much have the same exact texture. The only thing that seems to have changed over the years is just the color of the tint of the wax. They both smell almost exactly the same. They go on the same exact way. So I'll go ahead and put that through the water test. I already applied it yesterday. And let me just give you a close-up of the back directions here. It's giving you the same sort of directions as the current paste wax. Wait the 3 to 5 minutes to let it dry. Go ahead and wet the applicator pad before using it. Put on a thin coat, and this is something that you can also use on the trim or rubber, and it's not going to stain it white. So very similar directions to the current line that's out right now. Here's the RejeX product that DLC95 sent me. Now this is a synthetic polymer paint sealant. And a sealant is just a synthetic wax. It's something that you can put over top of the car to give you that sacrificial barrier to help protect it against, sun damage, sun fading, water spots, bird bombs, bugs. Basically, you want the car to be protected from all the outside elements so that those elements have to go through the wax barrier or the sealant barrier before it starts to actually eat into your clear coat. And here are the directions on the back here. And now this is a product that was really easy to apply and remove. It went on nice and smooth, and then it dried pretty quickly. And when it dried up, I went over it with the microfiber towel. It came off really easy. So I've got the RejeX on the right side of the hood and the right side fender facing the car. And I've got the older ice synthetic paste polish on the left side hood and left side fender. And both of these products have been curing for 24 hours now. All the previous products that were on the paint before were stripped off using Meguiar's M205 polish, and then I wiped it down with the isopropyl alcohol just to get any of the polishing oils from M205 off the paint. So they look like they're beading pretty well after the initial rinse down. We'll go over here. This is the ice synthetic paste polish. And you can see the water contracting up really fast. It really has no ability to form that completely flat water sheet across the entire panel. And you'll hear me talk about beading and sheeting, and when I talk about a beading wax, this is certainly a product that is more of a beading wax, when it really has that hydrophobic tendency to prevent it from forming that flat sheet that goes across the entire paint panel. The beading waxes will largely bead up in streamers that will stream down the paint, as opposed to a sheeting wax, where a sheeting wax is still hydrophobic, but it's less hydrophobic to the point to where when water is flooded across the panel, it goes much flatter and it holds that flat sheet across the entire paint panel. So this older ice paste polish is definitely behaving almost exactly the same as the current one that's out in the market right now. But here's the RejeX paint sealant. And you can see here when I flood the panel, it does have a little bit of a tendency to go flat when it hits it. But you can see how fast the sealant actually breaks up that flat sheet of water when it goes across it. Here's the fender here. You can see it beads up really well. When I angle the hose like this, you can see it does have a tendency to go a little bit flat. So this is one of those sealants that I would consider sort of in between a beading and a sheeting product. Whatever you have on the paint, it's going to bead to some extent, The difference with all these waxes and sealants is just how quickly they contract water and how aggressively they do so. So if you've been watching my videos, I think what I'm going to plan to do is I'm going to talk a little bit more about beading and sheeting and why some guys prefer sheeting products and why some others prefer maybe tighter beading products. But one of the things that I want my videos to be is a resource so that people can see how the products are behaving at their fullest extent. You know, after the 24-hour cure period, we should have an indication of how well these products are going to repel water. That way, if you have a preference for each product, you're not buying a product, you're not spending money on something that is not going to meet your expectations. So for example, if you buy Meguiar's Gold Class wax and you're expecting it to behave as aggressively with water as this ICE paste wax is doing, you're going to be disappointed because Meguiar's never formulated Gold Class to be a super crazy beading product. But what I'm hoping for is that my tests are going to be an accurate representation of how these products are going to behave on other paints. And that may or may not be the case because we all have different levels of prep before we apply these products. We have different environments, different levels of humidity, which may affect our results. But at least you'll be able to see how these products are working on my paint. And I try to keep my prep consistent, you know, making sure I take off and remove the old product before putting on the new ones. But taking a look at this older ICE synthetic paste polish, nothing really needed to change between the older one and the new one. They basically just changed the color and they changed the name from paste polish to paste wax. It's still easy to apply and remove. It gives you that crazy level of water beading. So definitely not a bad wax, especially if you like the beading sort of waxes or sealants. So I think in my next video what I'm going to try and review is this older ICE synthetic liquid polish and put it up against the ICE synthetic spray wax. And I'll try and talk a little bit of why I think they actually discontinued this older ICE liquid polish. But again, a big thanks to DLC95 for sending me some of these older products. I'll go ahead and try and test them all out, see how they do. So stay tuned if you guys want to see those. Thanks for watching.